Grace and peace, everybody. We're back up in the building. I'm doing a quick audio check to make sure. Yesterday there was a complaint that my audio was coming in a little bit too hot, and I want to make sure that it was good. Thankfully, we did not have a court today, so I got a little bit of time. Actually, we don't have court until 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so I got a lot of time still. I might have to go run some errands. Anyway, I just want to check and make sure it sounds good. Thank you, Queen Table Rock. I appreciate you stopping by. I just want to get a quick check to see how the audio is working. And I do have a video because, of course, just like everybody would expect, there are tons of people commenting about the first 2 days of trial, of the preliminary trial. And I think there's a great one that I want to talk about. So listen to the audio. I think I sound pretty good. What's going on, Mackenzie? How are you? Let me know how I sound. Just doing a quick mic check, make sure that the audio sounds good. Had a complaint that my audio was a little too loud yesterday, or as they say, coming in too hot, as the professional people say. Shout out to y'all. Thank you so much for stopping on through. Sounds good. Thank you, loves. I appreciate that. That's what I want to hear. Thank you so much. I will be back today at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So just letting you know that ahead of time, I will be back tonight, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, as well as this evening. I have Johnny Walker Dredd coming on. We're going to be talking about the Carmelo Anthony trial and, the aftermath of the Carmelo Anthony trial and some of the fan fiction, false narratives that have come up because of the lack of information coming from the court. People have kind of created their own narrative, so we're going to have a fun time talking about that. He's an excellent content creator, does great work, and so we're going to be doing that today. It's the Erica Kirk shift by the one and only Jay Witt. Hey, what's going on there? How are you, Mackenzie? I'm taking my shift, absolutely. Yeah, court isn't until 3 o'clock today, so I'm just Mrs. North Carolina. I just want to jump on, check my audio. I've done some things in the background to make sure that I got them fixed. Want to make sure they sound pretty good. They sound good to me. You all said that they sound good. And because you all came by and hung out with me, because there was no thumbnail, there was no title. Because of that, I got a quick video by Dr. G, who's looking at body language. I love body language. I mean, that's a topic I could unequivocally do a whole stream on. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe as this thing winds down, we'll look at some of the body language experts and how they talked about what happened in court. You know, this witness's body language versus Tyler Robinson's body language, on those kind of things like that. So let's get added. Let's get active. We got Professor or Dr. G in the building. Let's go and move me over there like that. All right, let's get this ready to go. If you don't mind, green hearts in the chat where you can hear.
Hey everybody, Dr. G here. I'm a clinical and forensic psychologist as well as a body language expert, and today we're going to be analyzing the behavior and body language of Tyler Robinson in his most recent hearing about the Charlie Kirk assassination. We're also going to be looking at some forensic evidence. Before we get started, a couple of quick things. One, I wanted to make sure you know this is not a psychological evaluation of any kind. These are just my opinions. In addition to that, I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content.
Make sure you do that.
Just like this. All right, let's go. Today we're going to be analyzing Tyler Robinson, the man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk. We're going to be looking at a couple of recent hearings. During these hearings, they've been detailing evidence to present against Tyler Robinson. What we're going to be looking at is some new video footage. We're going to be looking at Erica Kirk's reaction to some of this, as well as Tyler Robinson's reaction during the hearing. All right, let's just jump right in. What we're going to be looking at first is some video evidence being presented during the hearing, and then we're going to talk about the significance of this evidence.
Yes.
Who is that?
I believe that's Tyler Robinson.
Now, the reason that this is so significant, aside from the fact that it's new footage, they showed him parking, they showed that he has a distinct car, and I'm going to be very curious if Tyler Robinson's defense is that that's not him, because that's what many people have been saying for months and months and months. That's not him, that's a fake, that's somebody else. I've seen AI-enhanced photos that make it look like it's somebody else. So the question is the defense going to try to claim that this is not him at all?
And do you believe you recognize who that person is?
Yes.
So I wondered that same question. I had that same question. Are they going to say that wasn't him? You can't prove it was him, hence why they're trying to argue about DNA evidence, so on and so forth. But would they not have shown or made some kind of point of that even now versus even getting to trial? That's what I was wondering, but we'll see.
Who is that?
I believe that's Tyler Robinson.
All right, and where does he go from there?
He heads out of the parking garage on foot into the campus and actually goes to the quad area of the campus. At that time, he makes contact with some representatives from TPUSA.
By quad area?
Sorry, the amphitheater is what I've previously referred it to.
And just for the sake of time, I'm going to abridge some of this, but Tyler Robinson goes back to his car.
It's on foot from the neighbor.
Now, these were some of the angles that were AI enhanced, where they would show a face that did not look like Tyler Robinson. I imagine there are many people who still believe that this is not Tyler Robinson, and I'll be, as I said, very curious when this goes to trial, whether or not they try to claim that it isn't him.
To the northeast, you can see he's wearing the same clothing as in the previous video. And he's carrying a blue backpack.
So now here's later footage of Tyler Robinson. He's changed some of his clothes, but the shoes are the same, as you're going to see. And I also want you to pay attention to the body language right here. This is someone who does not want to be seen.
The shoes are the same. And the images that we have are from my viewing and seeing Mr. Robinson with a gait or a limp in this video.
With a gate or what?
A limp.
And the significance of the limp is that we saw this individual jump from a rooftop, or well, partially from a rooftop.
Right. But he also has that gun in
What do we
his
see?
pant leg.
This is Mr. Robinson coming up the stairs of the parking structure.
You notice that when that person passed by, his head ducked down. Watch this right here.
Stairs of the parking structure. Again, he seems to be having issues walking.
See, continuing to try to obscure his face as other students pass by. So throughout the rest of the footage, they do show that they were able to track where his car went, where he went, so on and so forth. And so what's interesting is it's showing that during these hearings, they are providing some very specific and very compelling evidence that the state has trying to prove their case. Now, the goal of this video is not to suggest guilt nor innocence, but it is to show that the state is coming out very aggressively and they are showing exactly what they have.
Your Honor, we renew our authenticity objection, and we also object to the, for admission purposes. And then we also object to the publication for the same reasons, the fair trial issues that we raised with the unaltered version.
So right now they're objecting to the authenticity. But I want you to pay attention to what Tyler Robinson is doing right here. Now, we haven't watched much of him in this video, but if you've seen him before, he does tend to be someone who's fairly still. I want you to watch his hand right here.
Thank you, Your Honor. We renew our authenticity objection, and we also object to the, for admission purposes. And then we also...
You see that amount of fidgeting. That's a lot of stress and anxiety for someone who tends not to have much of an expression. He is...
I'm going to move back a little bit so you can watch it again.
He does tend to be someone who's fairly still. I want you to watch his hand right here.
Thank you, Your Honor. We renew our authenticity objection, and we also object to the, for admission purposes. And then we also...
You see that amount of fidgeting. That's a lot of stress and anxiety for someone who tends not to have much of an expression. He is someone that can sit very still and not move at all. Now, that doesn't suggest guilt or innocence. I do want you to keep that in mind, but it does suggest there's a lot of anxiety around admitting this evidence right here.
To object to the publication for the same reasons, the fair trial issues that we raised with the unaltered version that was just submitted.
Now I'm going to show you on day one when Erica Kirk chose to leave the hearing. I do think that there is something that's worth analyzing here. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, and then I'll explain what it is.
I understand the court overruled and published, and I accept the ruling, but I thought under the court's previous order that the media was not going to film exhibits.
They were preparing to get into details, and they're actually going to watch some video that clearly Erica Kirk would not want to watch. But I do think there's some significance in terms of her expression right here, because there's so many conspiracies around this. It's hard not to address some of all of that, because so many people have come up with conspiracies about who was involved, who wasn't, all of these things. But one thing I can say, when we see Erica Kirk's face like this, you see anger and you see distress. And there's a reason for that. When you are near somebody that you at least believe is the person who killed someone close to you, You are going to feel anger because that is a protective emotion. We feel anger around people that we think could do us harm or have done harm to people that we care about. So this seems to be a very genuine appearance of anger. She does look angry. So for all the people that think that there's something illegitimate about her emotions related to this, I would say this is a very brief moment that she's caught on camera where she was not expecting it, and we're seeing some real distress here, some real anger.
Media was not going to film exhibits.
Can we also just point out real quick? I'm just going to jump in real quick. Can we also point out the fact that it's clear that Erica Kirk is sitting right next to her mother and father-in-law? So all the narratives, all the stories, all the fan fictions about, you know, Erica was at odds with her in-laws, or the in-laws are looking at Erica sideways. Can we just point out the fact that that's not true yet again? I'm going to back up just so we can see it. First person to be dad, then mom, and then Erica. It's clear they were sitting right next to each other. It's not a big deal, but it just goes again to show yet another example of something that these people have come up with, this fan fiction that they've crafted that has been found to be false.
People that think that there's something illegitimate about her emotions related to this, I would say this is a very brief moment that she's caught on camera where she was not expecting it, and we're seeing some real distress here, some real anger.
Media was not going
Nice
to
haircut,
film
Dad.
exhibits.
Before we keep going with the analysis, I want to show you something that genuinely bothers me greatly. This is a redacted broker report, and just look at the level of detail here. We're not talking about basic public information here. We're talking
Shout out
about
to
names, addresses, emails,
Gotta pay the bills,
phone
gotta pay the
numbers,
bills.
possible associates, relatives. Sometimes it can be so much information that bad actors or scammers can get a pretty good picture of your life. As someone who specifically covers manipulation, deception, stalking, and true crime, I can tell you that this is exactly the kind of information people have to
shout
target
out to
someone.
DJ.
It
What's
makes
up,
social
brother?
engineering easier, scams more convincing, and doxing more dangerous. And this is why I'm glad Aura is sponsoring this video. Aura identifies data brokers that are selling your information, automatically requests removal, and helps keep you off those lists. And when you enter your information or your family's information on Aura, it is encrypted the second it's entered. Aura also gives you a lot more than data removal. They monitor for fraud, dark web exposure, and identity threats. One thing that really stood out to me about Aura is that it sets up fraud alerts 650 times faster than some of their competitors, and speed matters in this area. Your data could be getting sold right now, even as you're watching this video. I'm not leaving myself or my family exposed to that, and I recommend you don't either. Go to aura.com/Dr. G, click the link in the description or the pinned comment, and try Aura free for 14 days. All right, now let's get back to the analysis.
Media was not going to film exhibits.
There's another important aspect to the way that her head is positioned right here. When we want to be seen, we do tend to have our chins up. We automatically raise our eyebrows. We can't help it because we're trying to draw attention to our face. So for people that think that she's being performative, that think that she's being inauthentic with her distress, I would challenge that she very much is showing the body language of someone that is just trying to get out of this situation. As ridiculous as it may sound to actually have to say this, I do think we're seeing very much authentic and real distress coming from Erica Kirk as she leaves this hearing.
And they're filming the ones that are on that screen. So
Now we're going to watch a few clips of Tyler Robinson listening to evidence being presented during the hearing.
He also stated it was a fair and accurate representation of what's being depicted here, and for those
Look at your
reasons,
big
the
screen.
defense objection is overruled. States Exhibit 1 is admitted into evidence and may be
So as you can see, he's holding his pen again right here, like I pointed out earlier. He's taking notes. It seems like he's actively participating in his own defense. That's exactly what we want to see from people, so there's nothing wrong with that at all. But you're going to see the way that he sits, the way that he moves. He does tend to come across as a bit awkward. We've talked about that during previous hearings before. But let's keep going. Let's see how he reacts to some of the evidence that's presented.
Officer Bagley, are you able to see the monitor that's here in the court that's...
So they're talking about looking at a monitor and immediately start scratching his neck. We tend to associate that with anxiety. There's lots of nerves in the neck. So when you see men doing this, that's an extreme amount of anxiety typically. That's really something that somebody does unconsciously when they're feeling a ton of anxiety and they're trying to calm themselves down. Because when we get a lot of nerves, when we touch a lot of nerves, it tends to make
I
us feel
touched my
calmer.
beard.
Officer Bagley, are you able to see the monitor
I didn't know
that's here in the court that's pointed towards
stressed.
the gallery?
Yes.
You're seated. Are you comfortable in describing where the courtyard is on that photograph, on that exhibit?
Yes.
And for the record, where is that located?
So all the grass that looks like a triangle, the amphitheater look, that is.
You can see he's sitting extremely still right now. And this can key us in that somebody is feeling, once again, anxious. When they're starting to feel that fight or flight kick in a little bit, the first thing we do is typically freeze. And we're seeing him sit very, very still right now as he's looking at this.
It's going to be the courtyard amphitheater area. It's got the tent in it, the white tent that's at the bottom on the far left of the picture. That would be the courtyard area.
And you just saw a very deep swallow as they're talking about the courtyard. Once again, I do want to caution you, this does not mean guilt nor innocence. That doesn't mean that he's guilty of something just because he has that reaction. But he is feeling threatened by them going over this evidence.
The white tent that's at the bottom on the far left of the picture, that would be the courtyard area. It's surrounded by buildings. More of the
Shape, the rooftop, what building is that?
with that white rooftop, that would be the Sorensen building.
That's the Sorensen building. And what about the Losi building? You've described that. Where is that located on this photograph?
If you go to that triangle white roof, if you go directly to the right, so the right side of the picture, that is going to be the Losi building. It's got.
Now, if you watch closely, you saw an involuntary jerk backwards. And we do that with our chin when we're trying to protect ourselves, when we're feeling threatened. As I said, feeling threatened doesn't necessarily mean that he's guilty of this, but it does mean that something that they're covering feels threatening to him.
Directly to the right, so the right side of the picture, that is going to be the Losi building. It's got several levels. You can see the grass down there in the amphitheater. You got the Hall of Flags that's more towards the top center, and behind that you've got I-15. But what I'm looking at is in the disturbance.
One thing that's very interesting about Tyler Robinson when you watch him during these hearings is there's certain evidence that he is just laser focused on. There's certain things that he seems to be more keen on and more interested in than others. Right now they're talking about the gravel rooftop where the assassin.
Did the audio go out? It might be me.
Apparently shot Charlie Kirk. And right here.
Did the audio go out? What happened?
He is really.
And behind that, you
just because he has that these hearings is there's feeling.
I feel like my audio went out.
As
Did
I
the
said,
audio go out, my good people? Audio went out. Okay, let's see what happened. Y'all, the max, man. I'm telling you. All right, can you hear me okay, though? You can hear it. The audio's fine. Is the audio okay from here, though? It went out of my ears.
feeling threatened doesn't necessarily mean that he's guilty of this, but it does mean that something that they're covering feels threatening to him.
directly to the right, so the right side of the picture, that is going to be the Losi building. It's got several levels. You can see the grass down there in the amphitheater. You got the Hall of Flags that's more towards the top center, and behind that you've got I-15. But what I'm looking at is in the disturbance.
One thing that's very interesting about Tyler Robinson when you watch him during these hearings is there's certain evidence that he is just laser focused on. There's certain things that he seems to be more keen on and more interested in than others. Right now they're talking about the gravel rooftop where the assassin apparently shot Charlie Kirk. And right here, he is really dialed in.
Markings of elbows, knees, and feet to where somebody was in the line of sight of where Charlie's tent was.
Thank you. And if we could, again, take the, if we could publish State's Exhibit number 2. You recognize that, right, officer?
Yes, I do.
Where on the Losi?
Another thing that's interesting about where he puts his focus is he's far more interested in the people talking than the images that they put up. Watch how quickly he looks at this. Then as this officer continues to speak, you're going to once again see a big swallow. Continues to show more anxiety.
You recognize that, right, officer?
Yes, I do.
Where on the Losi rooftop?
See, another big swallow. Chin goes in again. As I said before, when we're feeling threatened, if something that's presented in court we're feeling is particularly compelling or we think is bad for our case, those are the things that he's probably going to react to. Doesn't mean that that evidence is necessarily going to prove its case against him, but it does mean when he sees this, he's reacting to it.
You recognize that, right, officer?
Yes, I do.
Where on the Losi rooftop did you observe this disturbance in the gravel?
If you go to the
Can you
center of
point
the
to that?
picture, if you go to the center of the picture in the darker gray part of it, on the left side, so the south side of the Losi building, it would be right in the line of sight of the
See, now he's back to fidgeting with his pen. I'll be curious if this is something, if this goes to trial, Ultimately, if that's something that he does a lot when he's feeling anxious about something, I would pay attention to that during when certain evidence is presented. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's great evidence, but it does mean that he's probably feeling anxious when the evidence is being presented.
Of videos. The videos as Sergeant Hull has testified to is a compilation of raw videos that he has.
Now, this I think is really interesting. I showed before how on day 2 he was reacting strongly, at least from my estimation, he was reacting strongly to the video compilation of him walking around campus. This is actually from the first day. They're talking about that same compilation. They haven't shown it yet, but you're seeing a reaction already. You're already seeing a strong reaction. Again, he is fidgeting with his pen. He's looking down. So it does seem to be that this compilation of videos is one that maybe he thinks is more compelling than some of the other evidence. He does seem to react more strongly to this.
Received from Utah Valley University. And he has not only seen this video, but he has seen all the raw footage. And by his estimation, or according to his testimony, these are all videos that are accurate and they depict what.
Tyler Robinson is someone who does appear to remain remarkably calm. You don't see him blinking much when it shows him watching footage. You see him looking up and down very slowly. He's not somebody that seems to get rattled very easily with all of this, other than you do see some reaction. You are seeing some fidgeting with the pens and so forth.
Refer to Mr. Olson's written statement. It's Plaintiff's Exhibit 12.3.
All right, let's go and start to wrap things up here. Hopefully this is helping you better understand some of the behavior and body language from Tyler Robinson. Obviously, there is going to be a tremendous amount of footage, a tremendous amount of evidence that's going to be presented as this goes to trial. Hopefully this is helping you get a better grasp of some of what we've observed today. Tyler Robinson is someone who tends to remain very calm. He can be a little bit fidgety. Sometimes he appears that he has some mild defenses, and it seems that there is some discomfort. Once again, that does not indicate guilt nor innocence, but it does indicate discomfort. And I would think that the areas where he's more uncomfortable might be more compelling evidence when the state is trying to make a case. If you have any other thoughts about this, or if there's anything else you want me to analyze, please let me know in the comments below. Last thing before we get finished up is I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. All right, thanks for watching.
Shout out to Dr. G. Shout out to Dr. G. Now, I am going to bring in another quick body language review. I did not put this in the description, so I'll have to put it in the description afterwards. But it was just a real quick one as a newscast that was talking about it as well. And then we'll get a lay of the land. I'll be back today at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's when the trial actually starts again. And then later on this evening, I got Johnny Walker Dredd coming on. We're going to have a fun time talking about some of the fan fiction that's come up after the Carmelo Anthony trial. So thank y'all to everybody who's hopped in. This was just meant to, I was doing a mic check, make sure my audio was right, as well as just having a good time talking with y'all. And I thought Dr. G would be a good one to look at today. Let's go real quick. This is the National Desk, I guess a news outlet out there in Utah. Let's go bring it in. Here we go. What y'all got to say? Green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
And the country, even the world, watching as Charlie Kirk's accused assassin made his first in-person court appearance today. So we asked a body language expert to break down what he saw. Thanks for joining us. I'm Heidi Hatch.
And I'm Mark Cabell. Tyler Robinson showed up in formal clothes today. No visible restraints on him for an hours-long hearing. We did not hear from him personally, but cameras captured his facial expressions and his demeanor as he sat in court. David
Ochoa asked a body language expert about what he noticed during stand out to him.
Well, he says Robinson's apparent lack of concern. He says it's got him locked into this case, and he's very interested to see what we learn about Robinson as it continues on, moving forward. At his first public court appearance, a well-dressed Tyler Robinson had a little smile or two while talking with his lawyers.
That's the only thing that I looked at and went, ugh, he shouldn't be doing that.
Scott Rouse is a renowned body language expert who trains law enforcement attorneys and is also an interrogator. He says Robinson laughing wasn't a good look for someone who's accused of murder. He tells attorneys it's okay for their clients to have a pleasant look on their face, but this might have been too far.
I don't know what could be found funny during that situation. It would be a little bit tough for me to think something up, but apparently they're trying to, alleviate some of the stress for him.
Rouse also noticed something when Robinson and his attorneys interacted. He says their body language suggests they don't know each other very well.
Their body language isn't the type where you want to get close to them or you're touching. They're not leaning the way they should lean if they knew him really well. I don't see any connection with them yet.
All in all, Rouse didn't see much out of the ordinary for a proceeding like this. But he did see at least one thing missing, the grief muscle.
These two muscles pull together and this muscle pulls down. I don't see any of that. I don't see any grief muscle that lets us know he's really, really worried about anything and no concern.
Now, Rouse says you can't really make any distinctions about his personality at this point in time, but he did compare him and Brian Kohberger. He says Robinson moves a lot more than Kohberger, who Rouse considers a psychopath. Reporting live, David Ochoa, KUTV 2 News.
All right. So I just want to go over those, give you a little bit of lay of the land for today. We'll be back today at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Court starts late, so we'll be starting our show late. I just want to make sure my audio was right. So, of course, why not hop on here and talk and make sure the audio's right, right? I want to say thank y'all so much for that. That was good. I'm looking forward to, I'm sure there's going to be more of those. So if you do run across any other body languages pertaining to the trial, here's the email, jwitt@jwitt.com, email management. I would love to, maybe we'll do that on Friday. Actually, I have to cut court early on Friday. I'll tell you that ahead of time. I have to cut court early on Friday. I have to go pick up somebody from the airport. But Friday night, maybe we'll do Friday Night Lights, look at body cam, and as well as body language experts discussing this topic. Because I think it's super interesting. And all the little nuances, like the grief muscle, like I don't even think I have one. There. I don't think that doesn't look good. I don't have a grief muscle, I guess. And I move a lot. By nature, I just move a lot. So I don't know if I'm giving off the wrong vibe. Oh, Lord, oh, gosh. What doth thou needeth?
When did we go see Masters of the Universe? Was it 1 week ago or 2?
We saw Masters of the Universe 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so I'm likely getting my paycheck today.
Okay. All right. Bye. Toodles. My kids crack me up, man. They just crack me up. But let me bring up something here. Being able to see how Tyler Robinson responds to witnesses and evidence and testimony is very informative. And now let's go back to, again, the court case that everybody hates, which was the Carmelo Anthony trial. If we had been able to see that, imagine what we'd have been able to see when we hear people, again, being able to analyze and look at Carmelo's body language and how he was interacting with his lawyers and look at this and the other. It would have been really informative, I think. And I just hate that we didn't get that, because I think that would have helped out a whole lot with the fan fiction that's come up since the Carmelo Anthony trial has been concluded. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, tonight we're going to talk about that with Johnny Walker Dredd. It's going to be fun having a conversation with him. Let me see what we got. Let's see. I appreciate DJW Music Productions. I got to check out your channel, by the way. I appreciate you being up in the chat as well. Thank you so much, sir. I know we had great conversations yesterday. Looking forward to hopefully having great conversations with y'all again today, later on. Looks like good folk up in the chat. A lot of good people. Were you able to listen to the space where Blake Neff decided it was a good idea to go into last night? No. I think when I got done last night, I think I walked around the kitchen trying to get some, figure out my life, and then I went to bed. I didn't. I support TPUSA. TPUSA needs to stop engaging with the trolls. They have to stop, in my opinion. There's no benefit. There's no real long tail success in that. You drop receipts and you keep on moving. Don't engage with the trolls, because you're only going to make problems. And I just reading your rise over on X. Thank you so much. Just reading this, it sounds like it didn't go well. And even here, you said, "My goodness, who's advising these people?" I don't know. If I were advising them, I would honestly say, stop engaging with these people. Just stop. You have more to lose than benefit. And I'm living this in my own life off camera. So I'm telling you what I'm dealing with. I would not even engage with these people. They just don't. There's nothing that you have nothing to gain. They have everything to gain from this. Media trials have made legal strategy shift to playing to the court of public opinion rather than court, and has led to kangaroo courts. I can get that. I think being able to see, and that was just my point with the Carmelo Anthony case. I said being able to see it would have alleviated a lot of the kangaroo-ness that has popped up post Carmelo Anthony trial and his conviction. I think would have been solved if we had just been able to see it, in my opinion, based upon information and belief. Yeah, I'm still, again, look, if they're going to shut her down, then shut her down. Otherwise, there's no benefit. There's a reason why men are told not to get into debates and arguments and go back and forth with women. Not because women are lesser individuals. It just, women emotionally will outweigh us as it comes, in quantity of words, they're going to wear us out. Men don't talk that much. And it just doesn't look good to go back and forth. To me, I don't think Andrew should be going back and forth with Candace. We know she's a liar. We know that she's lied multiple times. This trial, we're on day 3, and I think I've counted at least 8 things that she lied about. 8 things, and a whole slew of things that were just erroneous statements. The whole Egyptian planes and all this other foolishness like that. So there's no real, what is the benefit of TPUSA going back and forth with Candace? That's what I don't understand it. And the Bible says, don't engage a fool, right? And Candace is a fool. By every means and measure, by every metric, she's a fool. So just stop engaging with her. You drop the receipts and you keep on moving. But that's me. I don't think they should be doing that. I couldn't agree more. It's frustrating. Yeah, I'm just like, TP, stop. But I've said it before. I said this early on, that they shouldn't have been engaging with her. If they wanted to come out day 1 and engage her, maybe we could have a conversation. But they came back like day 40 and engaged her. Just let it go. It's water under the bridge. Oh, she's going to be spiraling. But see, that's the thing. And I don't want to turn this into a Candace discussion. But the thing is, she needs people to affirm her. So why don't you, if you realize that she's the one to affirm. I know a friend who had an issue out here in these social media streets, and their spouse got drug into it. My friend told their spouse, let's not say anything. Let's just leave it alone. The social media streets had nothing to run with. They only had things to run with when the spouse said something. So when the spouse said nothing, the social media streets had nothing to do. Even though they drug their spouse into it, they couldn't find anything. The spouse was doing their work fine, and the other person was doing fine. They said nothing. They did not address that issue at all, and they let them just sit there and die on the vine. They had nothing to do. Later on, when the smoke cleared, they were able to pursue legal action against certain entities, and they were paid handsomely for it. They were paid very well because what had been being said was not true. There was no verification at all. They had already known that what they were saying wasn't true, and they were sued, and they were paid. That my friend and their spouse were paid very well because of that. But they didn't keep antagonizing it by throwing out sentences and throwing out comments and stuff like that. They said, whatever, leave it alone. They left it alone. They dropped that lawsuit on them, and they were paid very well. I don't see what the benefit is. What's the benefit of Andrew and him going back and forth? Put the information out there, let people parse through it, and y'all keep building. Okay, so and DJW says this. She's always been this way, from when she attacked Tree of Logic, Nicole Amber, Kim Klasick. That's what I'm saying. Like, if we took the time, and I've said this before, again, I'm not trying to turn this into, but it probably is going to turn into a Candace segment. Candace Owens has always been a liberal. She just she just cosplayed as a conservative for 11 years. That's all she was doing. She was playing the opposition role for 11 years. That's it. She really wasn't a conservative by any means or measures. When you really look at it and you look at it objectively, Candace Owens was a liberal over here on the conservative sector. Now, the problem is we have to ask ourselves, why did we allow somebody who was not a conservative to run amok within conservative circles like she did? That's going to be a hard conversation for conservatives to have that discussion about. And at the end of the day, I've been saying it for a long time that she was full of garbage. And there's some instances where I thought she was like smart and that was my fault. But for the most part, I knew she was full of trash. I knew it. And there's a lot of people who did. And at the end of the day now, Andrew and Blake Neff and TPUSA and everybody else, look at the fruit of what she's doing. Tell me that that's conservative behavior. She turned off the conservatism and now she's attacking like a liberal. Oh, okay. Or maybe she's always been a liberal and she was pretending to be a conservative. That's all. All right, y'all not gonna get me talking about that woman all day. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna get out of here. You just ignore it. Jen, I'm telling you, my friend who got their spouse got drug into social media foolishness, I'm telling you, you just ignore them. If you're gonna if you're gonna drop a lawsuit on them, you drop that lawsuit on them, and that's what you do. You don't sit there and talk about it. You know what it is? This is how you do it, Jen. This is what you do. In the chat, because y'all gonna make me talk about this. Okay, fine. How many of you all are parents? If you are a parent in the chat, give me like some child emoji. Like put a child emoji for how many kids you have in the chat. Okay. In the chat, if you're parents, put an emoji in the chat for how many kids you have. You got 2 kids, you got 3 kids, you got 19 kids, whatever. Or you can just put the number in there too. Like you can just be like me. I'll just put the number in there too. Bada boom. All right, 2 kids. All right. If you have children, you can attest, you probably could agree that, whoa, how many is that, man? Wow. Okay. Y'all took be fruitful and multiply. Y'all took that as a mandate. My people. I love it. Okay. All right, so we got a lot okay. Y'all got babies. Y'all believed in being fruitful and multiplying. Okay. Now, if you've had children and you've ever had to, and I'm gonna use the word negotiate, okay, you've ever had to negotiate with your children, you realize that the more words that you use, the less control you have in the situation. When you try to cajole them, and I know there's a lot of people that believe in soft parenting and such like that, but when you try to like get them to comply by using a multitude of words, that's why the Bible says in the multitude of words, there's sin. Because the more you try to like talk them into doing what the right thing is, the less you actually get done. And I learned this. I had to learn this because I have daughters and they believe in trying to talk you out of whatever. They just believe in it. And I used to try to cajole them. When they were little, we used to have some real fun ways to get them to behave and comply. It was a lot of fun, right? Every morning when I was a teacher, we would have every morning during the summer, they would wake up and I would make like a little treasure map for each of them. And each one of the little stops on the treasure map was like a chore that they had to do, like pick up your shoes and put away the dishes and clean up your book bags and all that kind of stuff like that. And then the reward was go to the park, or the reward was go to the mall or go get ice cream, right? And it would be fun. A lot of things, we got a lot of stuff done like that. But as they got older and they dare I say, basically women, the words had to cut down. We had to get down to, it got real short. So they would get like a text message in the morning, dishes, laundry, car. That would be it. They're like, Dad, you don't even talk to us about it anymore. You don't even talk. You just send us a text message. I said, but you know what I'm talking about when I say bathroom. You go in there and ask yourself, is this bathroom the way my dad wants it to look? Or is he going to come in here and start acting a fool with me? That's how we get. So the economy of words had to go down because it just wouldn't make any sense. I would just I'm sitting here having dialogues with grown women about why these dishes in the sink. And what are we doing? Get these dishes done. So the words went down significantly. So when they were little, I used to use a whole bunch of words, lots of words, fun games, all this kind of crazy stuff, all this kind of chore bingo. I used to come up with some of the best stuff, right? Now it's like, hey, what's going on with this? What's going on with these dishes? Literally, you get a text message that says dishwasher. You figure it out. What does he want me to do? Well, why don't you go look at the dishwasher? You go figure it out. Living room. Or now I get real trifling. I'll just send them a picture. I'll send them a picture of what it is. Because I'm not going to use a whole bunch of words. Now, where are we going with this, Jason? Thank you for asking. In my opinion, Blake Neff, TPUSA, stop talking to Candace like she's a kid. You got to use a whole bunch of words and you got to, no. You drop your receipts and then you get out of here. That's it. I drop the receipts, bang. This is, matter of fact, here's pictures. Here's all the pictures I got of Charlie on my camera reel. Notice that you're not here. Goodbye. And just keep it moving. Stop sitting there having these long dialogues with terrorists. We do not negotiate with terrorists. We don't. If they're little toddler terrorists, they're teenager terrorists, we don't negotiate. We just get stuff done. We just get stuff done. And so when we look at Candace, I'm sorry. And I have put the ask out there. If TPUSA called me, I would absolutely tell them, stop engaging Candace Owens. I don't know what their address is. Let's just say it's 123 TPUSA Boulevard. No more people at 123 TPUSA Boulevard communicate with Candace. Stop it. Just quit. Cold turkey. There's no benefit. The only person that benefits from TPUSA engaging Candace Owens is Candace Owens. Blake Neff looks less. Andrew Colvin looks less. TPUSA as a whole looks less. There's not one person at 123 TPUSA Boulevard that looks better by engaging Candace Owens. Now, watch this. We're all watching her lies fall apart in 4K. All you got to do is just literally just watch the Monday and Tuesdays preliminary trial, and you see all the lies that Candace has told that have collapsed. Maybe just do that, but don't engage her anymore. Stop engaging her. They're desperate for a blemish. I'm not certain when. Do not engage. Now watch this. I am not affiliated with TPUSA. I've never been paid by them. I've never gotten anything from them. I don't even think they even gave me a head nod. I don't think they like my stuff even on X. I don't care. I will talk about Candace and dunk on her because I think she's ridiculous. And I think we as Christians should call out the foolishness that's Candace Owens. But I'm a different person. I just told you, I'm not affiliated with TPUSA. Now, if all of a sudden my doorbell rings and they offer me a job, guess what? I'm not going to communicate with Candace Owens anymore. I'm not going to call because there's no benefit. Like, what's the purpose? There's no benefit to it. Yeah, we just stop engaging with her. All right, I'm just looking through here. Looks like some good. I saw my brother K-Dub in the building. What's going on, Chris? How are you, man? Grace and peace to you, brother. I appreciate you following through. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Bush League Big Guy. It's hard to figure out the correct route to travel. I'm going to, wait, I'm sorry, wait. See, there's another sentence here. I feel there's an issue because when Charlie left us, the money went up, but then there was a drastic decline. It's probably difficult to spiral with everything happening and then the lie to push. I got you. And then it's hard to figure out the correct route to travel. There we go. I appreciate it. Hey, this would be my recommendation because on my channel, I was literally doing Candace Owens video every day. We would do the live stream and we would just make fun of it. We would play Candaspiracy bingo, all that kind of stuff like that. And then I realized this isn't good for me, Jason. It wasn't good for me. I'd get off the stream and I would be exhausted mentally, spiritually, just wore out. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? I didn't want to go work out. I didn't want to hang out with my family. Didn't want to do anything fun. I could just literally crawl under the couch and just stay there. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? Oh, it's because I'm watching this content. If you have a fair assessment, Bush League guy, I'm sorry right there. If you have a fair assessment that this content is not benefiting you and it's actually having an adverse effect on you spiritually, adverse effect on you mentally and physically, then leave it alone. Turn it off and go do something else. I'm not trying to be funny. Turn it off and go touch grass, but turn it off and go touch grass. Like, go get unplugged from this. So if to Candace, to TPUSA, engaging Candace Owens benefits them nothing positive. There is a net negative every time Blake Neff, Andrew Colvett, fill in the blank, from TPUSA engage Candace Owens. There's a net negative. You lose something. Then stop engaging with her. It's really that simple. Like, just move on. Like, okay, fine. So you're going to say that? We know that it's not true. Because please understand, the court of popular opinion is a place. It's a real thing. But really, nobody's going to put you in jail for it. You're not going to go to jail because of the court of popular opinion. Again, with my friend and what happened with them, all of that shenanigans and Facebook and all that kind of foolishness like that. Now, one thing changed, and they ended up causing their entity that they were allegedly wanting to support and prop up, end up having to write them a huge check that they're never going to get that money back because they allowed the looky-loos to ruin them. But to my point, again, just stop engaging her. I don't see any benefit for TPUSA engaging Candace Owens. Now you see why I don't do social media detox. That's why I did a social media detox and took down all my social media. Jay, this is the only way you can actually reach me now. Okay. Well, brother, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, DJW. All right. I see a lot of good commentary back and forth. Oh, man. What do we say here? I love Blake Neff, but I think he needs to take Charlie's advice and don't feed the trolls because they're never going to stop, and it's going to make their life terrible. There you go. I mean, that's it. I don't remember that Charlie said don't feed the trolls. I've heard other people say it, so I'll give Charlie credit for it, sure. I know I didn't come up with the term, but I don't think there's any real reason for anybody from TPUSA to engage Candace Owens. And maybe I'm wrong. Some of y'all let me know, but it doesn't seem to be a net positive by any means or measures. Candace Owens is a new voice. The open door policy of conservative speakers is not good, and vetting needs to be more thorough. No, there's no question about it. Conservatives didn't vet Candace Owens. That was the problem. They saw, I hate to say it, conservatives said, oh, this woman checked some boxes. You know, she's a conservative, allegedly. She's a black female. She checks those boxes, and they wanted somebody to be that face, and that's what they did. But I point the finger at Charlie. I said, Charlie Kirk did not vet Candace Owens. When you hear them tell the story about how he went about selecting or meeting Candace Owens, he offered her a job very quickly in their interaction. No vetting whatsoever. And I hate to say it, that's how we got this Trojan horse inside the conservative camp. Should have never been involved in it. Never. Okay, a lot of good conversation back and forth. Y'all are the best. Okay, I can see why. I'm a TPUSA fan. Gotcha. I condemn Candace, so I can agree. But I can see that TPUSA crew is not Charlie. All I mean is I can see how hard it would be for the organization trying to do good. No, I agree with you 100%. I don't fault them. I just kind of encourage them, like, stop. I'm not mad that you did. I'm not saying that, you know, you're condemned because you did engage Candace. All I'm saying now is, like, well, let's just stop. There's nothing that's good going to come out of this. I mean, y'all heard the adage. What is it? Well, we know a pig returns back to his wallowing in the mire. That's biblical. But what is it? Don't wrestle a pig because all you're going to do is get dirty and the pig is going to enjoy it, right? Like, don't wrestle. Candace is the pig in the slop, in the mud, just wallowing around in the mud. You're not going to get her out of it. I mean, You're not going to get her to change. Leave her alone. And that's just my little 2 cents on that one. All right. A lot of good back and forth. So this afternoon, we'll be back at 3:00 for the preliminary trial. I know yesterday was DNA day. That DNA conversation was rough, man. It was rough, but it was good. But it is also giving us like a foreshadow of what the actual trial is going to be like. I did ask Andrea Burkhart. She said there's no way to know for a fact when the actual trial will begin. But she said she wouldn't be surprised if it was a year from now, which is absolutely insane. But she said wouldn't be surprised. Like, don't expect it to start next week, though. That I can definitely get. And she wouldn't be surprised. I believe she said something to the degree she wouldn't be surprised if it was a year, 12 months, which is crazy. So, and this trial is going to go on for a while. Like the Charlie Kirk trial is not going to be, a 5-day Carmelo Anthony. No, this is going to be probably better part of 2 or 3 good months easily. With all the experts they're going to be having, DNA evidence. But we ain't even talked about ballistics yet. So we got ballistics evidence, of course, cell phone data, all that kind of stuff like that. Surveillance camera data. There's going to be so much stuff. So this trial is going to be a little while. Whenever it kicks off, just, be ready. We might do like some midday stretches or something. Like in baseball, was that the 7th inning stretch? We might have to have some stretching. What'd you say, Bush League big guy? To your point, Jesus sent the demons into the pigs. I feel like at this point, the pig candy is running toward the water. Let her destroy herself. Let her destroy herself. I've said it already, man. I've given Candace Owens to the Lord. Let him deal with her. Like, there's nothing. I mean, at some point, you're going to have to stop and think. Candace has thumbed the eye of the president of France. She's thumbed the eye of the president of the United States. She's salted the biscuits of pretty much everybody and anybody who's ever worked with her in the past. She accuses the little sliver of land the size of New Jersey in the Middle East for everything, from the pain in my left toe to gas prices to whether or not my coffee was good. She blames them for everything. And the woman still moves she's got a quote unquote French assassination plot on her life. And the woman moves like nothing ever happened. At this point, what do you do? What do you do when somebody is this egregious? And that's not even an exhaustive list of the egregiousness, even though that's not a word. That's not even an exhaustive list. Like at some point you got to say, you know what? God, you deal with Candace. You do whatever, God. I'm going to have to get over here and I can't. I just can't. Because, I mean, like the way she moves like nothing's wrong. She moves like she is completely, totally not bothered by anything. I don't. So if she's that unfazed by what's going on, why in the world am I going to fight with her? Why in the world am I going to sit there and get more gray hair fighting with her? Okay. Janae, I agree. Candace's goal is to make TPUSA a memory. And TPUSA's goal should be to continue to push forward Charlie Kirk's memory, Charlie Kirk's legacy, Charlie Kirk's vision and mission for TPUSA. Is not to sit there and fight Candace. That should not be their goal. And the more they engage them, the more famous they make her. I'm just saying. Thank you so much for the 5. I appreciate you, friend. Okay, good people. All right, let's do this. 3 o'clock. Set your timers. What is it, 12 o'clock now? It's 12 o'clock. Shout out. So I'll see you in about 3 hours. I'm going to take these young ladies to go get the car cleaned so they know how to do that. And then get some sunlight because I got to get back up in here at 3 o'clock. So don't forget, tonight I got Johnny Walker Dread coming on. We're going to be talking about the fan fiction that's come up from the Carmelo Anthony trial, as well as we're going to be doing, of course, at 3:00, the Tyler Robinson preliminary. It's going to be good. So hopefully you all will be ready. Get some stretch, get some rest, stretch out, all this stuff. Get your cold beverages, all that kind of good jazz. Get your cooler next to you, all that kind of jazz. What do you say? I love it. Yeah. I pray for them, but distance must be maintained. That's it right there. There you go. Like, just keep the distance. What's the purpose? The TPUSA gains nothing from engaging Candace Owens. And this will be my very last point. Think about every person that tried to help Candace with this trial. The guy that, Terrell Farnsworth, that gave her the footage of Charlie being shot from behind, that footage. Mike McCoy that engaged her. Andrew Colvett that engaged her. Everybody who tried to engage her in good faith, she is drugged. She's burned those bridges. She's completely torched them and their reputations. So you're going to have to, at some point, you're going to have to ask yourself, what is the benefit of engaging with Candace Owens? And I think most of us agree, without argumentation, there is no benefit. So therefore, stop it. As she said right here, distance must be maintained. There you go. So shout out to y'all. Thank you so much. I'm going to see you all this afternoon, 3:00. We'll be back here. I think I already got the link already up, so I will see you all soon. What's going on, present? Not perfect in the building. Everybody, have a great rest of the day. I'll see you real soon. Grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment, because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.